Everyone likes streaming services, right? They're convenient, they're popular, so much so that they've even ingrained themselves in our culture with things like Netflix and chill. And it's because people can now access movies and television from virtually anywhere, as long as they have a device to stream it on. And if this seems a little too good to be true, that's because it is. In fact, the streaming service model is in decline and is likely to cause you some inconvenience sometime soon, as evidenced by recent Hollywood strikes and price hikes and dependency on ads. So, in 2023, as you may know, the Writers Guild of America, as well as the Screen Actors Guild, went on strike for many months. And the strike was focused around the impact of streaming services on the film industry. CBS News reports, when talking about the role of streaming in Hollywood, quote, actors want to make up for what the union has called an erosion in residuals payments. The advent of streaming services has upended these payments, endangering what was once a stable career, end quote. So, the older model of cable television offered a much more reliable stream of income to writers and actors who would receive checks whenever their movie was bought on DVD or picked up by a cable television station to be broadcasted. Nowadays, with streaming, however, these payments come usually only once a year and in much smaller amounts. So now that I've talked about the effect of streaming on the industry, let's take a look at the effect of this failing model on the consumers. So these major entertainment companies, like Netflix, for example, will spend billions of dollars to license properties or to create properties. But when these attempts fail, they have to turn to other sources of revenue, which are price hikes. In 2023, Netflix increased its ad-free subscription from $11.99 to $15.49. Hulu's went from $14.99 to $17.99, and Max, formerly HBO, went from $14.99 to $15.99 to $19.99 for its ultimate ad-free subscription. So rather than acquire more consumers, these companies realize that they have a certain specific base of subscribers who will pay whatever the fee is to stay subscribed. Like price hikes, another way these companies squeeze money out of their consumers is with advertisements. I mentioned earlier how these companies are charging so much for their ad-free subscriptions, and that's because they prefer the ad-based model for their subscriptions. FastCompany.com reports from a CNBC interview last year with a former Disney streaming boss who stated the average revenue per user for the ad-supported plan was materially higher than the revenue for those who were taking the no-ad version. So it started with Hulu, with the ad-based subscriptions, and then more and more companies have started switching to ad-based platforms in order to increase their revenue as a more reliable stream of revenue. So now consumers either have to pay a very high fee or settle for the cheaper plan with constant ads. So the streaming service model, suffice it to say, has become less convenient for people since it has peaked in usage. Creators are having their work sold away for nothing. Big entertainment companies are struggling to keep their platforms profitable, and TV watchers are tired of having to choose between emptying their pockets or being saddled with advertisements. If I were to offer some solutions, I could recommend Apple TV Plus, which has a decent collection of entertainment for only $9.99 rather, with no ads. And you could also invest in physical media, so that if streaming does become the primary model, the only model in the future for television, at least then you don't have to be beholden to the whims of these major media companies.